What's up, guys? Sub-Zerek here, back for another VOD review. Today, doing a VOD review of another new line that has really started to pick up steam over the last few days. This is a line that, a week ago people really were not playing at all, and all of a sudden this 5 Shepherd Leblanc line has really started to take off. So what's the idea? Well, I basically gave it to you there. You're basically playing around this 5 Shepherd. They, I believe, did bug fix Bia and Bayan to have the correct amount of HP. Last patch this was bugged to have a little bit less HP, or a good bit less HP than it should, but now this has been bug fixed, so it's actually a pretty good unit at 5 Shepherd. Gives you a nice duo tank on this board, and you can play for LeBlanc Karma as your duo carries and then start capping the board out later in the game with stuff like Sona. Rast fits nicely on this board as just a unit that provides, a pretty solid Redeemer bonus, especially even later into the game as you get even more traits in. So, I mean, it's just a very, very simple, strong 4-cost board, and really becoming one of the better 4-cost boards over time. You can also see that I have Leona 4 on the board. The idea being if you can reach this, great. It is a lot harder these days to reach Leona 4, which is why I wanted to do a VOD review of this comp here, because it's not every game that you can reach that Leona 4. Let's go back and look at the portal actually here. So it is Varus plus Sirach here, which is another, perhaps indicator that we might actually be able to reach some kind of Leona 4 setup here, because we have Varus, who can give you things like tiny dupes, which can accelerate you. There it is, also 3-cost start, and Dishsoap does get the Samira here. So if I didn't know any better, I would think it's possible that we could actually play this into a Samira game. But he's going to do some scouts, see some other Samiras out there, and he does get Diana from Orb Drop, which is definitely a good thing to check here. There's actually an interesting question. Nowadays, you used to always pick the attack 3 times, gain a Leona Arbiter. Since the nerfs to this, I have seen people take the every 4 seconds one, especially if you are starting off with just a Leona and a Zoe, because that's a lot more consistent. Now, because we have the Diana, and because we are thinking of playing this as our kind of main game plan, I do actually still like the every 3 autos one a lot, because we know we're pretty quickly, hopefully, going to get to 3 Arbiter with the Zoe. That then gives you 3 units that can auto. We even get a bow dropped here, which can hopefully be something like Winsu's Rage Blade. So I do still very, very much like the every 3 autos one, especially if you can get to a Giga Diana here, then she's going to do, absolutely insane work here. And yeah, we're just gonna hold on to the Teemo here, hold on to this Timebreaker opener as well for, potential setup here. If we do get a good setup for Samira, we can certainly look at it here. Pretty interesting first augment here, Heroic, Booster Pack, Infinity Protection. I mean, if you're a big Samira lover, you could actually think about just a Heroic grab bag here, and hard force it, but I don't know that Dishsoap is that that type of player here. I mean, he's gonna scout the lobby and see, and if there's someone else who has a really good Samira spot, then we could certainly just give them it. Yeah, I'm actually still surprised though. I guess this guy gets Legion of 3 sniper here, and so he's thinking, that's likely to be a Samira game, though. Hey, I had that spot in one of my games and 2 people still contested me. I'm not frustrated, but yeah. We do see Booster Pack here, which actually did get buffed pretty hard. The big upside to Booster Pack is it can hit stuff like Mordekaiser, it can hit stuff like Zoe here. We do have to take it basically for the fact that we can hopefully, pick up this, a Mordekaiser and a Zoe and then be off to the races, get our 3 Arbiter in. And we do miss on getting that kind of stuff, but we do get a lot of other stuff here. We have Timebreaker as our opener as well. There's a million different things we're actually holding on to on bench here, and just gonna opt to hold all of them here. Does find the Teemo 2, who can be just a nice backliner here for now, and yeah, he is going to sell off a lot of this stuff, saying, yeah, I am likely to just play around this Vanguard board here and just have a pretty straightforward early game. Don't want to try to do anything too crazy here. Because I have the Diana already, this means it's almost guaranteed that I will find 3 Arbiter sometime this stage. Pretty unfortunate these first couple of fights where Leona and our Diana are just dying super quick into the fight. So yeah, we actually get no print into no print here. This is the risk that you do run when you take the auto ones, is obviously if your Leona and Diana die quickly, then you are just not printing whatsoever here. So this is where if we did take every 4 seconds, it would be slightly better in these rounds, but obviously it is going to fall off later, especially if we do get something like Winsu's Rage Blade off carousel, which we will see if we get there. He actually swaps over to right side here because he sees I have so many fights where I'm actually getting just my Diana blown up that I really, I just want her to be able to survive here, get a couple of casts off, and this fight she does actually at least get a couple of casts off, stays alive almost the entire fight here, Leona getting some autos off. This fight looks a lot better for a Leona printer, and we do print the Leona here, so looking good. Going to carousel arrow cell here. Low key, this is a spot where you could actually think about Blessing Prosperity. Lovers is not bad, but I mean, I think you do actually take this in this spot here. It's a permanent buff onto your Leona, especially if you do want to play for Leona 3. Wow, he's still going to take Lovers here and says, you know what, there's decent chances that this can give me good stuff here. It's econ, and so yeah, it just goes to show how much people don't care for Blessing Prosperity here. Even in this spot, he's not 100% certain, I guess, that he's going to play for a Leona 4 on this board, so he opts to just not take it here, and we can just chill on this board. And we do pick up the Zoe here, which is a big pickup. This means that we have the ability to double print now, and we just have higher odds of printing in general. So even in a quicker fight like this, we still can print 1 and even print 2 here. So big double print from Dishsoap here. Wow, actually sells off Zoe pair here over. Instead of selling the Lysandra here, really wants to hold on to all of these different shepherds for this shepherd, vertical shepherd dream, like we've talked about. It's just something that people prioritize really, really highly, and so he does not want to sell this list because he's afraid, hey, maybe this list won't show up later. He also knows that because we have this Diana, it's pretty likely Gwynsu's going to sit on the Diana. I mean, still Zoe too. Surely you would itemize, but he actually doesn't care about it, which kind of surprises me. But I mean, the Diana obviously doing really good work with his Gwynsu's, getting a lot of autos off, and is getting these double prints every round. So nowadays, because, you know, last patch, every single game was a Leona printer game, and you could play for it before the B patch, C patch, whatever you want to call it. Every single game was a Leona printer game. Nowadays, this is the spot that you need to really play a Leona printer game and actually reach, you know, potentially a Leona 4. You don't have to reach Leona 4. You'll see people just print out Leona 3s and play this line. But if you do want to have a dream of getting to Leona 4, you need a spot that's this good, where you have the 3 Arbiter online, sometimes stage 2. You're at this point here 6 Leonas, which is pretty good. We haven't actually naturaled very many at all here, so this isn't even like one of the best spots. You know, best case scenario, you're already at Leona 3 at this point. But just goes to show, like, this is what the nerfs to this have done. We end up making Onyx Spark here, which is a very, very good slam in general for any kind of AP line, obviously, get our shred down. The only downside is it does kill really good components in this comp, but I like that Dishsoap's down to slam it here to try to keep streak here. And we see Divine Amendment. This is where it gets a little spicy. This is a pretty good augment in this comp. It's not crazy, depending on what you get offered here. I think best would be just AP, which is pretty good. This is, you know, going to allow your Diana to scale up damage-wise. Eventually, you know, your LeBlanc down the line is going to be able to scale up damage-wise with this as well. So I do like it a lot, but, you know, it does just become like a decent amount of extra damage onto your LeBlanc eventually, which is like fine. You know, the extra AP doesn't really do anything onto Leona. And obviously, you know, if you take something like double econ, then you're just kind of playing down an Arbiter late game, which you do not really want to do. But yeah, you can see in a fight like this, this is also where the nerfs to Leona and just in general this line have hit the comp, is that like you need Leona 3 this early, because even look at that, like a 3-2 fight against a reasonable board, Leona 3 does lose to. The nerfs way back when Teemo Reroll is broken, made it such that Leona 3 it's fine, it's good, but if you are not reaching Leona 4 or using this Leona 3 as essentially just an econ augment, you're not getting that much value out of it. I mean, once again, you see this TF just choose through the Leona 3, and we're going to take another loss here. This is also why having that Arbiter in really, really early, as quickly as possible, is the dream when you play this line. Oh, man, is this going to take the opposite of what I would pick every single time here? Because I was just thinking the Giant Belt seems really nice to finish out a Warmogs here onto the Leona, but he says, nah, I'd rather have these ephemeral rolls, allow me to hit my board. While I do have the Leona 3, I'm not like super, super rich. So yeah, I am just going to pick this up here, level up here, and make the Hextech Gunblade here. Gunblade, a pretty good item on LeBlanc. Actually, we haven't really looked at LeBlanc itemization, so let me pull that up here. So you can see here in the LeBlanc itemization, the Gwynsu obviously essentially necessary. Basically, every person who is playing around this thing is throwing Gwynsu's Rage Blade onto their LeBlanc. And then after that, it's kind of a mishmash of items. It's really Arbiter dependent, right? If you have AP from your Arbiter, then you can afford to go stuff like JG GS, even JG Deathcap, you know, is never bad in a spot like this. If you do not have that, then you really want something like a Deathcap or an Archangel. You can see Archangel scales quite nicely. Gunblade, honestly, just like perusing the stats, doesn't look amazing, but I do think because he knows he has every 3 autos Arbiter, he can afford to build this. So it's very dependent. You can see here a lot of different items viable on her. Really just depends on what your Arbiter is. Obviously, stuff like Nasher's not great. Stuff like Red Buff not great because she's not hitting multiple targets, and never build Shojin. She's mana locked for so long that you really just want the attack speed and then some kind of scaling damage. Really just get whatever she does not have, right? If you are getting attack speed from your Arbiter, then you obviously don't need to prioritize stuff. You want to get extra AP, right? You're basically always building Gwynsu even with attack speed Arbiter, just because it is such an efficient item on a AP attack speed unit like LeBlanc. But if you're getting AP from Arbiter, you can go a little bit less deep on the AP items. And if you're getting attack speed from Arbiter, then you really need to get AP. And if you're in the situation where you just have Leona Printer, say we didn't get Divine Amendment, then you do really want to build AP. It's really, the question is always, do you have the requisite amount of AP on Diana? Do you have like 2-ish sources of AP that can be Arbiter plus some kind of AP item, or it can be like double AP item, as you saw with stuff like the Death Cap JG, which is 2 items that are giving some amount of AP here. Also, I guess I never mentioned it, but shout out to Riot Games for the sick beanie that I got here. It's now, I did use it the other day when I did my hat trick IRL of stream, where every single game I got a top 4. I added some more hats, which was very fun, but it's just a nice comfy beanie. We're gonna wear this to the cold winters of Vegas later this year, I guess, because honestly, last time I was in Vegas, it actually got cold as hell during the night. All right, I mean, we have just chilled up here to a very good spot, almost at our Leona 3. 71 HP is a really nice amount of HP to get through the stage with. Holds this glove open for potential JG here with this Gumblade that we have, and then the belt can sit open here for either heal cut or a last Leona item, and the adaptive helm, a solid enough Leona item. You'll see, I mean, this is a game where we don't have Biss Leona, but also, like I was talking about as well, just the weakness of having Leona 3 just not being this like crazy unit that just wins you every single fight, I think also necessitates you doing stuff like this and just slamming good enough items on Leona. All right, last augment here. Electro Charge sounds fine, so I think we can certainly reroll both of these. Pathetic, I don't think there's anything amazing. I mean, there's actually decent enough ones, right? I mean, we can pull up the stats again, because I was just going to look at Varus. Yeah, Varus's Obsession actually looks fine onto her. I don't imagine that Ari's Aura, yeah, Ari's Aura is not great. So it would just be Varus's Obsession, and then the tank one, the Soraka's Miracle would be pretty decent here. And he's looking at it because it is a 3rd item on everybody, but he does opt to take Electro Charge here and just says, you know what, item augment, I don't really need it. I'm basically at my 3 items here. Is going to roll down here very quickly, finds essentially the entire board here. The 5 Shepherd setup here is just playing double Leona in the slot that normally you would play Rost in, and is considering swapping stuff around, and then does just, yeah, swap back to this board here. He was also looks like considering, you can see this swap here actually, where he sees the Carmen. He's like, what I could do is just this setup right here, which is very good. Just means that I'm not going to print, right? If you go back and look at this board that I was showing at the start of the video, you'll notice that I'm not playing 3 Arbiter here because this is the cap for the comp. But you can see he thinks about this cap here, which like this is the way to cap, is eventually get out of Arbiter because it's not providing you that much combat. But in this spot, honestly, it's still a bit of combat with the 3 Arbiter gain AP. And this is going to allow us to print for Leona 4, which is actually realistic in this spot. We have already a Leona 3. We're only 8 copies off of printing, and if we print 2222, then I mean we'll be Leona 4 by the end of this stage, which is really good news, and just the power of having a actual good Leona printer setup. Just something that I think it's actually like a tight rope that you have to walk on this patch, and it does look like at this point he's actually pretty happy. I'm really surprised he does this. But he does actually drop down to 2 Arbiter this round for now, and says, you know what, I would actually rather be stronger than play for the double print. Means it's going to take 6 rounds to print Leona 4 at this point. I'm really surprised by this, especially versus somebody like this who I mean, actually I was going to say he could have beat this guy without it, but honestly it doesn't really look like it. I think he's trying to just save HP on the way to LeBlanc. He's also, okay, low-key, this is genius. His thought was, if I hit tiny dupes here, then I have Leona 4 instantly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually play strongest board this round, see if I can hit tiny dupes here. And then if I do hit it, then, you know, I do not have to kind of like waste my time here. He does not end up hitting it. So now we're kind of back to, you know, potentially playing Zoe on this board, though we'll see if he really wants to. Does get the JG and finds the Sona here, who can fit really nicely onto this board here. And yes, now he's going to fit the Arbiter back in. That's actually such a smart idea. And definitely something that you can do anytime you're in Varus Portal is say, I'm opening myself up to tiny dupes here. If you hit tiny dupes, obviously we just teleport straight to Leona 4, which is the dream. Because we did not, now we're going to get the Arbiter back in here. And we just missed out on one Leona print. And honestly, we probably won that last fight for not playing it. So really heads up stuff from Dishsoap here. And you can see why people like value this board and think it's quite strong. I mean, our board's a pile of garbage as far as upgrades go. LeBlanc 1 is our carry here. We have the Leona 3 as our front line at least, but we're actually, you know, battling these fights pretty closely. We're not getting 10-0'd in every single fight. The LeBlanc, just with the 3 Arbiter, with the AP Arbiter, is actually doing a lot of damage on this board and actually pump it. And yeah, we can kill a lot of these mediocre frontliners. Obviously, another board that like we're not supposed to beat. This guy's Yi 2, everything upgraded. And we're sitting here without Leona 4, so, you know, obviously not something that's, you know, amazing here. We are going to pick this up here, which I mean, you got to finish out the Warmugs here, and he does at this point now have the Leona 4. So took a little bit to get to, but we did manage to get there by the end of the stage, like we talked about. He lost 1, but then got it back from the dupe, so we can do this. And now, yeah, very likely just drop down to 2 Arbiter. It's nice, but, you know, not really worth playing. And is going to roll down really, really deep this round because we still don't have actually our backline upgrades, and he has to roll all of his gold to find it, but he does pick it up here. We're going to get the Spirit Visage and the Morellos down here, and our items are looking beautiful here. So Leona 4, 5 Shepherd Leblanc 2, Karma 2. We even hit the Sona. Everything is online here. We even get the Rostin as well for Redeemer on this board. 5 straight Redeemer bonus. Really, really nice here. And now you can see we're going to start clearing people. This board is really, really, really strong once it gets online, especially once you do reach that actual Leona 4 cap. If you can reach there, once again, if you can't, not the end of the world. You can play around Leona 3 and live with it. But this is obviously the dream, is being able to get that early printer online and go for the Leona 3-star. If you're not reaching stuff like Leona 3, then you can just play for things like a Lowy tank. It's obviously, you know, more of a dream to have this Leona as your front line because you do like fitting Arbiter, right? Because if you take a Combat Arbiter, you're going to have to play Leona on your board anyway. So it's a tad bit awkward. But, you know, you can certainly do this like Dishsoap did it. And, you know, had we not had this Arbiter augment here, I mean, it really would be, our spot would be almost no different. We would just not have this AP Arbiter, but, you know, very likely we would have some kind of other combat augment, which would, you know, make up for the fact that we don't have AP Arbiter. So this is the natural way to play it, is just obviously with, the Leona Print Arbiter, reach Leona 4, and now you have a lot of frontline. The Shepherd actually gets a lot of work done, especially just sitting in the middle with Leona tanking for her, and just casting. And yeah, you can see only person we actually end up losing to here is a no scout, no pivot. TF reroll forward. That is the only time I ever see this comp do well. I played it a few days ago and took no scout, no pivot, and managed to top 2 with it, I think it was. So the line is actually not bad at all with no scout, no pivot. It's kind of crazy that, you know, it's been nerfed a lot, but definitely still exists there. Ready here, playing the classic birthday reunion into not reach level 9, which I mean is always very, very sad, and so that's going to be a bot for them. And that's the other thing about this board, is that it is a very good comp at, you know, farming these less than strong boards. It's Leona 4 is obviously a huge DPS check. If you do not have a ton of DPS on your board, you're never killing Leona 4-star. And then LeBlanc, very similarly, is kind of like a time check. She's just a ticking time bomb here, especially with like a scaling AP Arbiter here. If you're a board that plays for slow fights, this LeBlanc is just going to eat you alive later, and she's a ton of single target damage. So, you know, if you rotate into one of these very scary like Ornn boards, something like that, that's okay, because this LeBlanc, once again, so much single target can just just win all of these fights. We do just barely lose that fight, by the way, which is a little bit sad. But the upside is we are slowly approaching level 9 here. You can see we're already holding our next in here in the Pike. It's another trade on this board, Psionics. You're going to get extra 2 ASAD or 2 AS armor and MR from the Pike. And we are going to get Psionic in, and we're going to get Voyager in. So just a really beautiful +1 to play on this board here. Holding onto the Blitzcranks, but cannot really find them. So we're just going to have to take a tank item here, actually, Gargoyle, with the idea that we can throw Malware Matrix onto the other Karma here. And Bramble is going to move over to the Alawi because we know we have a lot of, at least this fight is a very heavy AP matchup. Not that much physical damage here. Once again, the No Scout, No Pivot is quite scaled up, so we are actually going to lose this here, but deleted goes down, so it is a top 2 for Dishsoap playing this LeBlanc board. Just, yeah, I mean, a really nice game. Just a perfect showcase of this board and how to make it work. Playing around the Leona 3, reaching everything, and I mean, almost winning out here, but No Scout, No Pivot. TF board, this board is very, very real. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Twitch down below where I stream every day, Wednesday through Sunday. So I'll be streaming Saturday, Sunday. So I'll have to figure out exactly when. I'm gonna call it around 10 or 12 noon Central Time, because I don't really want to wake up. I'm not gonna do that morning stream. I'm not gonna wake up super early. I'm recording this video at 1 a.m. There's no shot that I'm waking up that early, but I'll call it around noon time Central Time, and then you know, we'll stream maybe some through TPC, maybe even like a late night stream. We'll see. And my Medify down below for all your coaching needs. All right, thank you guys for watching. As always, I will see you guys later. Bye bye.